So, when I first sat down to figure out what episodes I was going to do for this series, I had originally planned to go in chronological order, more or less at least. So I was going to do, after my abortive attempt at original series, and then discovering the animated series happened to be an option. I was planning then to go on to TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise, and then the new stuff. But the plan has been changed. I'm still kind of figuring out which TNG episode that I want to do. That's the last one that I have to get pinned down. So I'm one reason for the schedule change is that I still have to get that figured out, and then the other reason is so I've been dreading doing the Enterprise episode for a while, because to me Enterprise is just a completely bad show. The only part of it that's good to me is the Xindi arc in Season 3, and when I rewatched Season 3 most recently, I found out that the Xindi arc is only like a third of it, so because they have so many filler episodes where the Xindi are no more than a backdrop, if that. So, just completely checked out of Enterprise and not really wanting to pay attention to it at all. The show attains its greatest approximation of quality in Season 4, but Season 4 consists almost entirely of arc episodes, like 3-part episode arcs, which I found to be a very disruptive structure that just it makes it feel like there's no point in watching the middle episode if you're not going to see either the beginning or the end. So it really, some of those episodes are well made, but I'm just completely checked out of it unless I'm able to actually sit down and go through the whole season, which I'm really not ever going to have time to do, and don't have much inclination to do, because I find the characters very boring. I find the visual style of the show unappealing. It's just not a show that I like. So there's one episode in Season 4 which is not part of a 3-part or 2-part arc, and is basically the only one. You could debate the second episode as being standalone, but it's kind of like a follow-up to the Season 3 to 4 transition, which is the two episodes called Stormfront, which are episodes 1 and 2, so I guess the other one is like the third. But it's basically just like the denouement of the rest of that and of the whole Xindi arc. So anyway, so excluding that episode, there's only one episode in Season 4 which is completely standalone, also excluding These Are the Voyages for obvious reasons. And that one is called The Observer Effect. I remembered finding it to be a better made and less boring, but still kind of the same sort of a deal type of episode, similar to Season 1 and Season 2, which I found incredibly boring, where it's mostly just the crew of the ship talking through the problem of the week, which is this virus plot. And it's better presented and better thought through, but not inherently more interesting. And it has these energy being aliens that are watching and judging the crew of the Enterprise. That's the whole point. And it's an interesting premise, and if it was done on a more interesting show, it would certainly work out. But it wasn't enough to salvage it from being Enterprise to me. So, like I said, I was still thinking this through. I hadn't quite figured out which Enterprise episode I was going to do, but I figured it was probably going to be a Season 3 one. And then I decided to look at the website for Memory Alpha, the Memory Alpha page for Observer Effect, just kind of on a whim. Actually, I stumbled upon it while I was. I didn't look at Observer Effect itself. I stumbled upon references to it while I was reading up on the Cardassians for just for interest value, because I wanted to identify a certain Cardassian NPC from a really good episode. And so I read through the whole page on Cardassians, and there were some very indirect references to the fact that the Organians had talked about Cardassian customs in this Enterprise episode called The Observer Effect. And when I read that, I was kind of blown away, because I did not remember from the 1 or 2 times I had seen Observer Effect, I did not think that there were any references whatsoever to the idea that these were Organians. I thought that they were just some random new energy being species. But if they are in fact Organians, then that changes everything about about not only this episode, but also Errand of Mercy in the original series. The episode which famously introduced the Klingons, but also features the Organians. And absolutely nothing had indicated to me that this was the same species across these 2 episodes. So if that's true, then it changes everything. So basically, for that reason, along with the other things I've said, I am doing the Observer Effect as my Enterprise episode. I still am kind of dreading the prospect. I expect to be thoroughly bored and checked out, and it's not a great way to start my day, since unusually for me, I'm recording before noon. Because my phone is very low on storage space, I can't afford to do the stop-start thing to the same extent, so I'm going to try really hard to just watch the entire episode and then make one commentary out in the end. I may fail in that, but we'll see how it goes. Just a small correction, I had forgotten about the episode Bound, which is also in Season 4 and is also a standalone. So, of the 26 episodes, there are 4 that by generous definitions do not qualify as part of an arc, and then there's Stormfront at the start, and then the remaining 20 episodes. There must be another 2-parter in there. What is it? Terra Prime and Demons is the other 2-parter, and then the remaining 18 episodes form 6 3-part arcs. Some of which are good, some of which are less good. I don't recall. The only one that I've rewatched recently is the Augments arc, which I really did not think held up very well. Anyway. Correction there. Observer Effect is one of 2 episodes just in the middle of the season, which is a standalone. And Bound is kind of a fun episode, but not worth doing an episode on, so we're still doing Observer Effect. So I've now watched the episode, managed to resist the temptation to do the whole pause and unpause thing. Okay, so first a couple of minor comments. I am not one of those who dislikes the Enterprise theme music. I think it's one of the better things about the otherwise lackluster show. It's not my preferred style of music, and I agree that it's a thematic clash with Star Trek as a whole, but taken on its own merits, it's a pretty well done song, and I think that it goes well with what they were trying to accomplish. Whether that's what they should have been trying to accomplish is another matter. But the use of musical cues within the episode itself was very odd in at least 2 places. First off, they play a musical sting whenever one of the Organian observers, they are confirmed to be Organians in the dialogue, I had forgotten that, apparently. One of the Organian observers shows up to observe Tucker and Hoshi, and the musical sting immediately alerts the audience to the fact that what appears to be, first it's, I believe they do this for Travis when he shows up by himself, and I know they do it when they first shift to a second set of hosts of Phlox and T'Pol. They play the musical sting to make sure that the audience knows, but the weird thing is that when they cut to commercial on, I think, I'm going to refer to the 2 Organians as Junior and Senior. Junior is the one who is doing his first assignment and immediately breaks all of the rules and convinces them to change how they're doing things. And Senior is the guy who's been around for 800 years and just wants to follow the rules.